There is a recurring concept in math called the identity. Operations have identities, functions. There's even an identity matrix. Let's say you have a number and you do some operation. Let's call the operation smiley face. You do that operation with the identity. You should be able to spit out the original number that you were working with. So A smiley face I equals A. So what that means is if you compose two numbers together with an operation, and one of those numbers is that operation's identity, you shouldn't change the value of the A. Here's a better example for you to understand. So if we have any number and we add 0 to it, what happens when you add 0? Well, you're not moving it up or down the number line at all. You're just staying at that same spot. So you should be left with A. This is because 0 is the additive identity. The way I like to think about it is the original number is maintaining its identity even after trying to do an operation to it. Another way to identify the additive identity here is if we were to take any number and subtract that same number by itself. What does anything subtract itself? Well, that's just 0. Remember I kept saying, like when we were learning about all these operations, I kept using the word opposite, like addition and subtraction are the same operation, they're just opposites of each other. The better word to use, and what I'll use from now on, is called the inverse operation. And the inverse operation is essentially kind of undoing the regular operation, in which case we have addition, and the inverse operation is subtraction. Multiplication's inverse operation is division. There's also just inverses in general. Like there's inverse matrices, there's inverse functions. Inverse is the better word to use when describing undoing a certain action in math. Subtraction is the inverse operation of addition, and if you do the inverse operation of addition on itself, you'll get to the additive identity. This is the idea of an identity and an inverse. Oh, and if I were to do with my original made up one, if I had a, I don't know, upside down smiley face, because that's a thing these days, right? And I do that with yeah, you get to I, sure, whatever. Not I as the imaginary number, but I as the stand-in for the identity of this made-up operation that I just made. This guy's kind of squished. Sorry, guy. The same thing works with multiplication. You're going to tell me, though, if I have any number and I multiply it by something and it maintains the number's identity, what number is it? You're going to Dora the Explorer the screen right now. That's right, it's number 1. 1 is the multiplicative identity, meaning we multiply anything by 1, and that 1 is maintaining the identity of that original number. Similarly, if I wanted to take anything and do the inverse operation of multiplication, which is very good, what's that equal to? Anything divided by itself is equal to 1. We've known all of this stuff since grade school, but firmly planting into your brain the concept of an identity, you need to protect your identity. You need to protect math's identities because you don't want them stolen.